David, I mean, how did you feel from a Chelsea point of view with the performance, more injuries, more calls for Potter's head tonight? Like, what did you make of it? Can't hear you, David. No, no. Hang on, unmute. Unmute yourself. You're unmuted.
Now.
Yes, there we go.
Right, okay, yeah. To be honest, I don't really care. I'm over it. Like when I started off the season, I thought it'd be Tuchel. I thought because Tuchel has this ability to make bad players look good, I thought it'd be fine. Maybe not win the league, but third, fourth would have been okay. But now it's been completely like torn apart, restructured. I'm not too fussed about results, to be honest. I just want to see who's performing, who's not performing. And the players who I think will perform, and the people who I don't think will perform, they don't perform. Like Aubameyang, we knew what he was. He was signed for Tuchel. Tuchel's not there. So why anyone expects anything from Aubameyang, to me, makes no sense. To me, Conor Gallagher, he's not good enough. I've watched enough Conor Gallagher now to know he can improve, but I just don't think he's ever going to be of the level of Chelsea. And there are so many players in the squad who I think, even with all of these injuries, are still playing and they're not doing anything. So for me, it's good because I now know this player's not good enough, this player's not good enough, this player's not good enough. They can go whenever they need to go. I think what Potter should do is he should pick the team that best fits his system. That's what I think he's not doing, which is kind of annoying me. If you think that Koulibaly's not good enough to play centre-back for you, I really want to see, when Badiashile is available to play, you've signed him, play him, because you've got to play a system that best suits you. When we play with Chilwell and Reece James, the reason why it works so well is because they're actually attacking fullbacks that can overlap and create chances on the byline and so on and so forth. When those players get injured, he puts in Cucurella and Azpilicueta, both who are fullbacks who can't do that job. So, of course, the system you're trying to implement isn't going to work because those players they're not like-for-like players. When Lewis Hall came on, who's more of a Chilwell mold of someone who can create chances and run around and create overlaps, the team looked a lot better. So to me, it's like play people who are best going to fit your system. Sign players who are going to fit your system. And for God's sake, learn from the history of this club and do not spend 100 million on one person because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
Can I ask you something? Sorry for cutting you because you're very passionate and ranting very well. Look, I want to ask you something, right? And I'm looking at your face right now. You said this is your opening statement. I don't really care. Brother, you care. Brother, you're passionate. You care.
Obviously, I care about the club. I don't care about the result. Because
I was wondering because you say you don't care. So I was like, why is this man saying he doesn't care?
If you're honestly, as a Chelsea fan right now, we've won before this game. We'd won one game in 7 games. If you genuinely thought you were going into this game against Man City as favourites, you're stupid. First of all, plus with all of the injuries on top, you're even more stupid.
But how can you not have a chance at home while you know Man City are also stinking recently?
Well, Chelsea.
Right now, it doesn't mean anything to me being at home, being away. We don't have players that fit a system we're trying to create. If you took out De Bruyne, Haaland, John Stones, like in your season when you lost when you lost Ruben Diaz, your team didn't perform as well because you couldn't implement the same system with the players that you had lost. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you shouldn't care because you guys still made top 4. You still had the ability to do that. Right now, we don't even have that ability. I'd rather have no Europe next year and Potter play people who are best suited to his system than try and come up with something where we play a back 3 and it doesn't really benefit us and whatever.
Can I ask another question to you though? Because I was on another channel, right, with Chelsea fans, and it was when Tuchel came on and things were not looking great, but you were doing well in the Champions League. Do you know why I don't trust Chelsea fans anymore? I used to trust you guys, and I thought you guys were our brothers because we all were spending money and we're together. But I don't trust you guys because you know what? You say all this. Trust me, I can come here in a few months, and if you guys, by any chance, even a slight sniff, you win the Champions League again while you're sucking like this, you guys will come in and slap it in our face, and you forget about the fact that you were struggling. Because I remember when you were struggling, you guys forgot, and you guys were shameless. So at the end of the day,
I not celebrate if my club's really bad, right? We're really bad, and I win a Champions League. Why would I not take the piss out of it?
But also, can I ask something? Why do you guys, right, always just say, oh, like, the first one I've heard, you say, I don't care, we don't care, oh, this is we're having, because I was also speaking to HH yesterday, and he said Patrick, we are downright bad and we are not favorites. And I looked at our own team and said, but we're also struggling, but we're still positive. Funny thing is, you guys have spent well, and why doesn't Porter use those players? And why are you guys asking for more players again?
Because if you look at our squad is a mismatch of 4 different managers who play different systems. There's no cohesion when you look at our squad. Our squad's got Jorginho, who's this Registo who passes the ball 5-10 yards and plays it back and forth. But we've also got Kovacic, who's there to walk, like be a water carrier and carry the ball 50 yards up the field.
Who is one of the best players I've ever seen? He was the best players on that pitch. One of the best players on that pitch.
I think Kovacic is one of the only players that should stay, personally.
Oh. So you want the whole team gone?
I want a lot of players gone. Personally,
even that's what we need.
People know how much I love Havertz. I really want him to work. I just don't think I don't think he suits the system right now, unless we sign a striker that's going to accommodate him into playing. And I haven't seen him be able to do that. So to me, even though I love Havertz, I've got to drop the like love for him and go, I don't think you're good enough. Ironically, tonight, the one person who I've been counting out quite a lot is Ziyech. And Ziyech tonight, I thought, was actually very good. Now, is that him because we kept feeding him the ball and he kept, like, he was almost like we were playing like Morocco, like, give Ziyech the ball and see what he can do with it? Is that because he's just naturally a very well-gifted football player? Or is it because he suits Potter's system? If he suits Potter's system, keep him. If he doesn't, get rid of him. Because to me, he's one of those players in the middle where it's like, does he fit, does he not? But there are some players who I look at and I just go, like Mendy, to me, love Mendy, had a really good couple of years with us. I don't think he's going to suit Potter's system at any time. Sell him. Koulibaly to me is he a good centre back? I'm sure in the right system with a 3 at the back, I'm sure he would be a good centre back. He's got less space to cover. But when we play a back 4 and he gets dragged out into the wide areas, which is going to happen a lot under Potter, he looks like a distinctly.
I think you bought a centre back today, didn't you?
Hence why we've signed another centre back. Do I think we should sell Koulibaly? No, because I think he's a useful squad player to have.
I would say
I
would say this to you, Patrick, as well. When you're saying why would Chelsea buy more players, I mean, it isn't like your club bought an expensive goalie and he flopped, and the next year you bought another one. You bought a number of fullbacks for 50-odd million each, and they didn't work, so you bought more for 50 million. Like, Chelsea are going to keep spending money until they essentially get it right. But the most important thing to do is to create a base, create consistency. What wouldn't have worked at City is if after a year of it not working with Pep, you sacked him and brought in Diego Simeone, and after a year and a half of it not working with him, you sacked him and brought in Graham Potter, and after a year of it not working, you sacked Graham Potter and you brought in Vincent Kompany to be your manager. If you were chopping and changing not just people, but styles, philosophies, the profile, changing the profile of player that's needed, the coaching standards, the scouting network, this is Chelsea's problem. They are a filthy cocktail. You ever done a filthy cocktail? A suicide cocktail? Where you go to a bar, it's probably illegal now, where you pay in the bar, they do a shot from each of the optics behind the bar, and then you have to like down it in one. Very dangerous. That's Chelsea's squad. It's just it's a mixture that should not be together, and it's going to take time to undo. That's what we saw tonight.
But Terry, this is the funny thing is, and yes, it's good you've opened that up. It's just that the club itself also is quite funny, because let's not forget Nkunku was being linked while Tuchel was there. I keep sitting down. Why do you own Nkunku? And everybody keeps getting. But the thing about Chelsea fans make me laugh, because there's a divide, right? Some of you just get excited when these signings are coming, because the time when you're buying Nkunku, was before Porter came in. I don't know if the new Porter was coming. I sat there and was like, is this a player that's for you, or you just want the next shiny toy? Then Nkunku, as I said, the rumors were there before Tuchel left. Now he's coming in, and now you're like, oh, Enzo. And this, I just see like you guys just go for the shiny toys.
But I don't think you're looking at the fans though, because a lot of fans aren't for this though. Like, David just said now before, he doesn't want to go spend that big money. So I agree what you say. In Nkunku, under Tuchel, but a lot of fans aren't happy with this, like the players just coming in. For me, I want a lot of players gone first. That's why I said I'll rather finish 10th this season, but I want to see Mason Mount go, and I want to see all these other players go, so we can have a process of rebuilding.
Mason Mount?
We don't want to splash that cash.
Mason Mount?
He's finished. He's done. He's done.
How is Mount finished? The guy is young. He's one of your best players.
He's young. I mean, again, that's what rivals say, younger players. But when you really watch him, you really watch how he plays. He wasn't here today. We looked way more fluid. Havertz in a central role as a 10. He played more central. He looked more fluid in the attack. I don't see Mason Mount as a suitable option for us. I don't think he's good enough. His stats don't show it. Him on the pitch, he's the ghost half the time. And today, I think we look better without him. But it's not just him. It's a lot of other players. Sterling as well. It's questionable. But for me, the point is just to get players out first before we just go splash that cash and we get all these names and we still have the same squad here. We have to build a team around the manager. And the point is, I'm saying, is Potter that right guy? Is Potter the man that we spend 400 or 500 million on? I don't think so. But if we do it, well, who am I?
I think you would, though.
That was going to be my next question. So I want to go to David. Super chat here says, how can anyone be Potter out? No preseason, no transfer window, so many injuries. Where's the logic there? Like, what do you make of like Matt's point? Is Potter the right guy, David?
I don't think this. My point was that I don't think we know, and I don't think we know enough to know that, because as of right now, not only can he not have a consistent squad because we keep picking up injuries, but the squad one is not built to fit his system in terms of, as I mentioned before, you look at Reece James, you look at Chilwell, both really dynamic fullbacks who can get up and down the field, and those two are both injured. But now you're going to ask the same amount of Aspi and Cucurella. To me, that doesn't make sense. When I look at Cucurella was really effective under Brighton as a wing back. When he's a left, he's a maybe. He is Marcos Alonso in a different form. In terms of, in one position, he looks quite good. In another position, when you drop him a bit deeper and ask him to do a bit more running, he doesn't suit it. Because the reason why he was so good at wing back is because he was a midfielder, so he has the ability to pick the right pass when he's further forward, as wing back should be able to. But he doesn't have as much defensive duties to do when he drops back. However, now when he's playing left back and he's got to go up and down, he's running 60 yards. His defending is not. He doesn't have the defending level of a Reece James. He doesn't have a defending level of Ben Chilwell. He's one of the, I'd say he's one of our worst defending fullbacks. Whereas Lewis Hall, you look at him and go, this guy is actually a trained left back because he has the athleticism to go up and down. And to be fair, I do think at the end, he did make the wrong decision in terms of not cutting it back. But you can see like his youthful exuberance on the field definitely had an effect. And it was really good to see like a fullback who actually wanted to go forward and cause City problems. And when he did come on, him linking up with Chukwuemeka and him linking up with Conor Gallagher, who I think is absolutely awful. And I think he's one of the players that definitely should have been sold. Even Conor Gallagher was able to pick one of the right passes. And that's why when these young players came on, and I've been asking for it for a really long time, we looked a lot better. Chukwuemeka, I think, suits what Potter would want to do because he's a really good ball carrier and he has the ability to hold the ball really well. Zakaria, who I've been crying for since the start of the season, I said, if we do anything good this season, he's going to be an essential part because he is not exactly, but he can do what Declan Rice can do in terms of he can cover a lot of ground, win the ball back, hold the ball really well in midfield, and then pass it forward. Jorginho can't do all of that. Jorginho can, yes, he can intercept the ball quite well, as stats show, and he can pass it forward. But if you ask him to do more than a 20-yard pass, he can't do it. Whereas Zakaria has the ability to not only play the pass, but he can also run through the team as well. And I think Potter wants more of those players who are more malleable and can actually do stuff. But right now we have a really rigid squad. And it's
I think as Grey Wolf Dinner here said is, how is tonight on Potter? The blueprint was there to beat City tonight. Team performance was great. Just need to improve on individuals. And I do agree with that. I think with better individuals in said positions and more training, you would have been at City because City were practically full strength tonight or full strength. Like there was no major holes in that City team.
But that crazy man did his thing again that he's been doing this season. I don't know what he was playing at. I don't know what he was playing at this day.
Chelsea were there or thereabouts. This comment here says, best thing about the game is J5 not playing and starting a midfield of Zakaria, Kova, and world-class wingers is what separate us from the top teams. I think, if you add world-class wingers, maybe that'd be the case. And even with Pulisic, I think Pulisic's quite good, but that boy, he's made of biscuits. I've said it before. His body's made of biscuits. He's out again now, injured. And he went down, held his leg. And I said to Jess, that looks like a ligament injury. And she went, nah, he's up again. I went, the way he was laying there still, ligament. And then 2 minutes later, he's down. He's got that teary look in his eye. Just like, it may not, hopefully it isn't as bad as Donny van der Beek. Donny van der Beek's going to be out for about a year. I think pretty much every ligament in his knee's gone. But we'll see what happens. This super chat says, watching Chelsea tonight is like watching old Arsenal. Bad assembled attack that can't run. Later, some young kids come on and run around in front of a crowd that had no Fs to give. There is an element of truth in that. I get where you're coming from with that comment there. I really, really do.